So here we are again in ETC Nomad and augmented virtual software. And let's talk about now about the use and the navigation of the Magic Sheet area. Now, if you notice from the last video, when we were working with augmented 3D over here, there is a golden border around this workspace. That always tells me what the active workspace is. So anytime that this is highlighted golden, that means that workspace is active, and that's where you're affecting the software and anything that might be happening within the visualizer. So notice as I slide over here and I click on my Live Magic Sheet tab, this golden border highlights over here, which tells me that this workspace is active, and this is where I'm going to be able to make my choices and my changes. If I slide down here to the virtual keyboard tab and click on it, it will highlight as well, or it should. It's not highlighting for some reason. Maybe it doesn't highlight. I might be wrong. I do want to point out, though, that should your workspaces ever go blue like that, notice that the word live has now changed to blind. This is a function of lighting control software. Let's say we're in the middle of the show and we realize a light has gone out or a future light cue is wrong. We can actually go into what's called blind mode, and we can make changes in the fixtures. We can make changes in the cues and changes in the programming of the show without the audience seeing actively what's going on. That's called working in the blind. So anytime you're working in the blind, your entire screen or the window, the workspace you're working in, is going to go from a golden yellow to a blue. If that ever happens, some changes you're not going to be able to make. And when you make the changes, you're not going to see them in the visualizer, or they're not going to be updated on a lot of the other information you have. That's because you're working in the blind. If that happens, go to your virtual keyboard and look for the word live. Once you go live, everything's going to shift back to that golden tone that lets you know that now everything you do is active. If we were in a show and we started to make changes now, the audience would see actively all the changes that we're making. So that's what the blind mode allows us to do, is it allows us to work in a rehearsal or work in a live sort of way where the audience, we can either see what's going on, or we're working in the blind where we can't see what's going on in reality on the stage. So when we get to the Magic Sheet here, we want to make sure it's live, right? So navigation of this basic space, again, I can scroll wheel in and out to zoom into any individual area. And I can also shift right click and slide this around like it's a piece of paper and pan from left to right and up and down until I get the view that I want to work on that's perfect for me at the moment, okay? I'm going to make just one quick suggestion. I don't know if it's a flaw in the plan, but this zoom out, zoom in, view back, and view side, view down right, don't use those. They do some crazy things to the layout of your workspace. They're supposed to help you zoom in over here in augmented 3D, but we've already talked about how to do that in a much more specific way using these camera modes, right? And or scroll wheeling and right clicking to orbit and shift right clicking to pan from side to side. So use your movement and navigation tools over here and just avoid these for right now. Great. So that's your basic navigation in getting the Magic Sheet to work and using the virtual keyboard and getting yourself into the modes of live and blind. For most of your work in this class, you're going to want to stay in the live mode. We'll continue to talk about the blind mode as the class goes on, but as you're working on your projects and your lighting design, make sure that you've always got this golden border which shows us that we are live. Great. See you in the next video.